Hey, y'all. There is a new series, Alerts. Right here on the channel, we will be breaking down our kind of people. And in this video, I am talking about episode 1 from season 1. Let's get into it. All right, y'all. I'm still trying to figure out what to make of our kind of people, but I liked it. Watching the first episode, the premiere episode of this series, I am interested, I am intrigued. The one thing that I struggled with that just kind of like was gnawing at me as I watched was just kind of like watching these upper echelon black people look down upon Angie and her family just because they're new or didn't have money. And it's just like, ugh, it's for me, it's a reminder of like how we have fought to put ourselves in better positions financially, emotionally, culturally, like all around, right? We fight to make it out of the circumstances that were set up to watch you fail, to keep you down, and to still prevail, right? In lieu of, even still with, like, still be able to ascend to a certain economic status, a certain social status, regardless of all of the things that are placed against you. And then to see these black people do that and then ultimately just create those same oppressive and classist and elitist and downright damn disrespectful systems, clubs, and carry those mentalities towards other black people is just like, why? What the girl? No, absolutely not. And I started to feel that just from Leah's interaction with Angie at the very beginning when Angie makes her introduction to her and tries to give her a donation check, and the check is too dang on small and she can't be bothered to touch it and all of this extra stuff. And I'm just like, what I'm not finna do, see this, what you not finna do, see this, what you not finna do. Like, what I'm not finna do is sit here and watch you belittle this bomb black woman for why? You haven't even presented a reason yet. Sis hasn't even done anything to you. She literally just walked up, praised you for this amazing event, said how amazing you are, and this is what you give. Like, can we leave that to the others? Can we leave that to the oppressor? And especially because Leah's character is supposedly the character that wants to uplift the community, that wants to build black women. And I'm just like, well, how, where, when, sis? Because I don't see it. When did this mission start? Because you might got to start over. You might got to do over, sis, because you're failing. But anyway, in this pilot episode, we get to meet Angie, Nikki, and Aunt Piggy, who are the Vaughns. They are representing the Vaughn family, and the Vaughn family is going to be juxtaposed to the Dupont Franklin family, and Leah Franklin-Dupont is technically Angie's sister, which we find out about at the very end of the episode. But the Dupont Franklins are the well-to-do black family within Martha's Vineyard, specifically Oaks Bluff. They have multi-generational wealth now and are navigating in the space of steady expansion while also staying rooted in the legacies and traditions that they have created along their ascension up the economic ranks. Okay, cool. I'm not gonna hold you. It was wonderful to see all these black people amongst luxury and luxurious experiences and clothes and this and that. My only thing is just like, okay, so the drama of it's gonna be also, we a bomb but you ain't, or we deserve and you don't, and I don't necessarily want to see that. Let's break down these families real quick. So with the Vaughns, we have Angie, who is now the matriarch because her mom has passed, her Aunt Piggy, which is her mom's sister, and then her 17-year-old daughter, Nikki. Now, we don't necessarily know a lot about the Vaughns, but we get just enough information in the pilot episode. We learn that they are coming for the summer to do a pop-up shop of Eve's Crown, which is Angie's black woman hair care brand that is named after her mom and the traditions and the recipes and things like that that her mom has taught her. We learn that Nikki was expelled from school for fighting. We learn that Nikki resents her mom because she feels like she hasn't actually been a mom, and she was trying to put her in this private school which is, I'm assuming, the school that she got kicked out of for fighting. And we learn that Aunt Piggy is along for the ride, which is going to be very, very interesting. For me, for this family to have as many secrets as they do, and for Aunt Peggy to be the closest person in proximity to the last person who knows where all the dead bodies are, but not know nothing, because in the pilot episode, y'all, she's giving, I don't know anything. I don't know who your daddy is. I don't know what your mama thought. I don't know anything. It's just like, that can't possibly be. So for you to know that her mom, this is the last place that her mom did hair, because they all come to Oaks Bluff because they find out after her mom passes that Angie was left this boarding house in Oak Bluffs by her mom. Now, mind you, this is a boarding house that the Franklin family used to own but didn't own anymore, and her mother came to own. Another thing that we learn is that her mother used to be a maid at Oaks Bluff, even though she lies when she goes into this like society member group meeting where she's trying to get access to the Graceties and become one of their sisters. She lies and says that her mom was an entrepreneur when in fact her mom was a maid. And we learn about Angie that she really needs to make this work. She's taken out a bunch of loans to be here. She is coming to be able to honor her mom and to really move the hair care company forward. But then by the end of the episode, she starts to get the inkling that Leah's father is her actual father, which gives her more reason to actually stay because she has a lot of questions that she needs answered. But for me, I really just struggle with, is all of that enough for you to pick here? Like, girl, why did you come to Martha's Vineyard and you ain't go to New York if you wanted to make this thing pop? Now, I know that your mom left you this building and all, but this just seems like a much more uphill of a battle. But, you know, I digress. All right, so the Dupont Franklins. First of all, the Dupont Franklins, as the title says, is a married family. So there's the Franklin family and there's the Dupont family. From the Dupont family, we meet Leah's husband, who I can't even remember his name right now, but he played by Morris Chestnut, and he's fine, honey. He's fine. And his mother. And then from the Franklin family, it is Leah Franklin, who is married to her husband, who is a Dupont, and then her father, who is Teddy Franklin. And then you have the little kids. I don't know if these two kids are supposed to be twins or if they are just like a year or so apart, but they there. They there. They got a little bit of a sub story, which is interesting, and I'm just going to leave it at that until I get into them. Leah is a very conflicting character. From the beginning, you don't like her. She gives black girl bougie, but not in a way that is like cute and empowering. She gives black girl bougie in the like, oh, I made it and now nobody else can make it, because if you make it, then that means that I no longer have made it. And it's just like, girl, no. But again, this is conflicting because she also, as a character, says that she's in the business of lifting up black women. Meanwhile, she looked down at Angie's check. She wants to invest in the community. Meanwhile, she humiliated Angie at the fashion show that she actually came through and saved the day for. So like, she says one thing but then does a complete other, and it's completely conflicting. But that would also make sense if they're setting us up to see the battle between right and wrong as personified by her character, because throughout the episode we get introduced to her father, the business, how they make so much money, and then by the end of the episode she is usurping her dad and taking control of the company because of his unethical business practices that she no longer agrees with. So like, I'm not going to be too mad about how conflicting she is as a character to start the series off, because if she is supposed to be the visual representation of this fight, then it makes sense that she would go back and forth internally to mirror how the back and forth is happening in the actual world. Other characters that we need to know about: Lance Gross's character, he plays Tyrique, and child, when Angie's shoe broke and this man proceeded to help her take off her shoes at this party, I was just like, God, is this what they are out here doing in the courting and dating game? Like, is this what single, well-to-do, fine black men are out here doing? Maybe my ass needs to be dating some more. Like, girl, what am I doing up in this house? There's black men running amok, helping you with your shoes, buying you new shoes, and looking at you like you are the last favorite dessert on their dessert table, honey. Get with it, Erica. Come on. We don't learn that much about his character, Tyrique. I'm probably going to say it both ways, y'all, so just be prepared. We don't get to learn that much about it. He's just given great possible suitor, which also raises concerns for me, but I'm going to go ahead and enjoy the chivalry while it's here. Every single character in this show has something else going on. There's something behind the mask. There's something behind the scenes. That everybody has a secret, and I really believe that they are setting us up for whatever we think we know. We have no idea, and everyone who we think they are this, they are actually that. So I don't want to get too attached to Tyrique early on, because he is charming and chivalrous and fine and Lance Gross, for God's sakes. I don't want to get too caught up in that, because he might wind up being a snake in the grass, but I will give him this episode and all of the feels that he induced from his actions in this episode. Throughout this episode, we get flashbacks to Angie, and I think she's between the ages of like 8 and maybe 11 with her mom, and the night that it's recalling back to is the night that she was supposed to meet her dad. Red flag number one is, how are you 8 or 11 years old old and just now supposed to be meeting your dad. And then when she was actually supposed to do it, it doesn't actually happen because he comes, brings a bunch of money in an envelope to her mom, and then leaves. So she never really gets the official introduction to her father. However, the man that she recalls in this flashback is also the man who's on this videotape that she gets after Leah calls her out for lying about her mom being a maid for alleging that her mom was a drug dealer. So her friend, her only friend at the Bluffs, which I also forgot her name, but her only friend at the Bluffs is a DA, which I wish they would have given us more insight onto how they actually were friends and how they actually maintained a relationship, because we see as soon as she enters the scene that she is like, oh, she likes her. She is her actual friend in like real life, which she's going to need to make it in this whole society and to be able to integrate or whatever. But she's the DA in this area, so she's able to pull these records about her mom. Angie is presented with these allegations, and they see in a video interrogation the same guy from her memories or from that flashback dream sequence is the same guy who interrupted the interrogation with her mom. And that guy was Teddy Franklin. So putting two and two together, Angie's like, that must be my dad. Now, the child or the children subplot that's actually happening is throughout this episode. We're introduced to the kids are introduced to each other. Leah's little daughter is raggedy, honey, but her son might be okay. He finds interest in Nikki early on, and then Taylor, who happens to be a family friend, and Leah's daughter's little girlfriend. I don't know if she's pushed overboard at this boat party, if she jumps overboard, or if she accidentally falls, but an accident happens with her right after she slips her phone into Nikki's bag, and on that phone is a video confirming their lesbian relationship, which Lauren is trying to hide from and keep under wraps. Lauren needed no excuse to be nasty to Nikki. She was very rude from the very first time they met at the bar at this party. While her brother is talking to her, she walks up and acts like Nikki isn't even there. And then after Taylor calls her attention to it, she still acts like Nikki isn't there, and it's just like, rude much? I would have plucked her in her forehead, but you know, we can't be out here catching assault charges for plucking, especially after you've been expelled from school for assault. So we're gonna go ahead and let it ride. These two, Lauren and Nikki, continue to battle. Like once we get to the fashion show and Nikki tries to console her, because you can see that Lauren is going through some type of mental episode surrounding Taylor and her accident and her positioning, maybe even her guilt in it. These two go back and forth, and Lauren lies. Like Nikki's trying to console her, and Lauren lies and says that she's threatening her, and it's just like, okay, so this is what we about to do with this. The brother's gonna like Nikki, Lauren's gonna forever hate Nikki, and hopefully Taylor's still alive, because we don't necessarily know fully by the end of the episode, and she might be, you know, the mediator who is trying to bring Nikki into the fold. Now, what I'm looking forward to is further clarity around Angie and Nikki's relationship, because at the start of the episode they seem cool de la, they seem so cool, but then after the whole accident with Taylor and Angie is chastising her, she says, oh, you're trying to be a mom now, and I'm like, wait a minute, where the hell did that come from? Because she's seeming like a good mom up until now. Is there something that we don't know that we are missing? Like, fill us in, Nikki, what's the tea, honey? And we don't necessarily get any more information about that or any other proof that Angie isn't necessarily a good mom, so we're kind of just left like, what we supposed to do with this information? But y'all, that is my full breakdown of episode 1 of Our Kind of People. So far, so good. I think that this is going to be a very interesting series to track. I am, again, just going to have to work through my own personal bias against watching these black people look down on other black people, because that's a part of the damn show's engine, Erica, so you're going to have to get over it. But overall, like I said, it's good. If you are watching it, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below what you thought, what you're feeling, and what you are expecting. I am going to do a video specifically about what I'm expecting from season 1, so be sure to hit the subscribe button, join the tribe, and turn on your bell notification so that you don't miss when that video goes live. It's your good sis, Erica Bain, and I am going to see you in my next video. Bye!